We have to wait a little bit longer, my friend. Just a little bit. So, in the meantime, let's talk about Bermuda Triangle.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and this is probably going to be a short one as I promised to do a second one after the previous one. That makes a lot of sense, but basically when we had the big reveal stream of the product stream earlier this day, I made a Cardfight update video about everything, and I promised that I'm going to do a second one when we have the new stuff from the actual Tuesday livestream that we are become familiar with. But what I didn't anticipate, that basically 90% of the livestream was basically a recap of the product livestream, but only the Vanguard side of that product livestream. And that means that we didn't have a lot of new stuff to talk about in this Cardfight update. But we got at least one big reveal, and that's the second VR for Bermuda Triangle. So I want to basically make this video a highlight of that VR, but also take a look at the other VR that I already talked about in the previous Cardfight update, and basically see what the interaction between these two are and what they potentially can be. But before we go into the second VR, let's take a look at the previous VR, the first one, and also this new keyword or mechanic that is called Melody, so we have an understanding what's going on with these cards. So the previous VR that was revealed was Colorful Pastel Sonata, and she has two skills, and the first one is the Melody skill that continues of Vanguard to Vanguard Circle. During your turn, this unit gets power plus 5k. This is shared to all of your units with Melody. So what is Melody? Melody is pretty much a skill that's active on a unit and at the same time active at all other units that have the Melody skill. So when I have another rearguard with the Melody keyword attached to it, then she will also benefit from this 5k. But it's not limited to only power that you can gain power. It can also be that certain skills are going to be given to other units. So if a unit has a Melody that states, when placed, you can do this, or when it attacks, you can do this, that skill part can also be transferred to all other Melody cards. So we can see some neat little interactions between all these Melody skills. And note, all these skills can stack. So if I have two of these specific VR on the field, both of them give 5k to the other unit. So in total, they both get plus 10k. And if one of the units is removed from the field during any kind of way, then at the same time, all Melody cards lose that specific power up or that skill that's given to them from that specific card. So if I have this on the field and it bounces into my hand, or it is destroyed or whatever, then those units will lose the 5k. And their second skill is act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost, counter +1, soul +1, reveal the cards from the top of your deck until a card with Melody is revealed. Call that card with the Melody skill from among them to the regular circle and shuffle your deck. So basically what this does is that you can keep going from the top to your deck, keep going bottom, lower, 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 until you see one Melody card and you can immediately call to the regular circle. It's a nice skill to call another Melody card to the field, so you can chain and stack more of these skills. But you can also make a cheesy kind of build where you have only one specific Melody card that you can search out for a win condition, and with this you can fetch it out immediately. So we have to wait and see how this skill can interact with the other cards. But overall, a pretty damn nice card. So now that we know how Melody works and what the first VR is, let's take a look at the second VR with the Melody skill that we have just been shown. And we can already see how these things can spiral pretty damn fast out of control. So the second VR that was revealed was Colorful Pastel Cannon. Our first skill is Melody Auto on Vanguard to Vanguard Circle. When placed, you may soul charge 1. This is shared to all of your units with Melody. Before I'm gonna analyze this, in the previous video, I basically speculated about all kinds of possibility with these Melody skills. It could be an on-attack skill, it could be an auto skill, it could be end of battle skill, end of turn skill. But the only thing that I didn't talk about or speculated was an on-place effect. And basically, I said anything that was possible except for this one thing, and they decided to go with this one thing. You basically roll the clip. They can probably make this even bigger and share skills so that a certain hit effect is spread among everybody, or a certain end of battle effect, or a certain upgrade, or a continuous effect. So yeah, that happens. But overall, it's a pretty damn decent skill. As this one's in the field, whenever you call another card to the field, you can soul charge one, as if you have a lot of Melody cards in your deck. Currently we only have these 2 VR, but we're probably gonna see a lot more. And her other skill is Act Vanguard Circle, cost Soul Blast 3. Until the end of turn, when your opponent will call Guardians from his or her hand, he or she can only call 2 or more Guardians. This skill is very similar to Battledore or Daimarina or Musashi, depending on what your preference is, that your opponent needs to call a lot of cards to be able to guard with. So if they perfect guard it, they need to call another card except for, besides the discard one for the perfect guard to be able to call. This is pretty damn insane if we look at the cards that were already revealed, as the trial deck cards are very aggressive early game tempo-ish plays where you pressure your opponent from right out of the gates. And then late game with this card, you can then go for broke, as they need to ditch a lot of cards, as seen as most of your cards already are going to be very strong and very powerful. Against a Protect land, this is going to be heavy, as they are going to waste a lot of cards, as they cannot easily sit behind the perfect guards. In early game, they already took a lot of damage, so they probably also can take an attack that easily. Against any other clan, it might be a problem. It might also not be a problem, as not every Force and extra clans has access to the perfect guard. So this restriction doesn't really mean that much against high number attacks, as you probably would guard with multiple cards anyways. So depending on the scenario, this can be really threatening. It can also be an auto kill, as it is for the entire turn. Basically, if they have only 5 cards in hand, they can guard all your attacks and at least one is going to go through. And if they're sitting at 5 damage, that's probably game right there. But with this in mind, we can already see cards that can unplay Soul Charge, and it gives it to any card, so you can ramp up your soul pretty damn easily. We already have a VR that can give 5k away for free, so that's basically a mini soul saver without doing anything. And depending on what we can get more, there are so many different possibilities. We could have a special guard restrict that works with Melody. It can be an on hit that retires something with Melody. It could be even putting cards from the soul blasting cards and then get extra resources through some way. It can be bouncing effect. Also, with the Soul Blast 3 skill of this VR, it suddenly makes a lot of sense why Crook got limited to 1. Cause in premium, getting multi-attacks while your opponent needs to waste 2 cards from hand for every damn attack is gonna hurt a lot. And as seen as in premium, you can multi-attack like crazy, like 8-9 times. They cannot keep up. Even if they're low numbered attacks, they need to guard 2 cards or more from their hand to even do something about it. So yeah, that makes suddenly a lot of sense. Let me know what you guys think of these Bermuda Triangle cards, of these 2 VRs, as they're pretty damn interesting. Also about how Melody works, as it's a little bit different than we are used to. It's more of linking skills together and basically making your own powerful damn boss monsters, as you're putting more skills onto a card that shouldn't have that skills in initially. So it's looking pretty damn interesting, but at the same time very scary, as if Bushiroad makes one small slip up, this could be broken beyond repair, and we might be looking at a power creep 2.0, what we have seen at the end of GR. So I'm very excited for this, but at the same time, I'm really scared for it. But yeah, that's all for me today, and I see you guys tomorrow, as we then gonna finish up with the set review for Link Joker. So without further ado, I'm Mr. Timeleap, and I see you guys in the next one.